In this video, I'm going to be showing you my 1 hour meal prep routine I use to lose 80 pounds in less than a year and maintain that weight loss for 2 years after that. So just to start off, here's my transformation. I started out at 260 pounds. I was not confident in the way that I looked or the way that I was treating my body. I was not living a healthy lifestyle. I was binge eating and my mental health was on zero. And after developing a healthy lifestyle and losing 80 pounds, this is me at 180. I've maintained this weight loss for 2 years at this point, and it's all because I developed systems that were efficient, that saved time, that worked for me, just like the meal prep routine that I'm about to show you. So to start off, meal prep starts with the grocery buying process. So you want to buy and prep your ingredients in bulk. The key is to do things in bulk. Starting off with buying ingredients in bulk is going to save you money in the long run. So going somewhere like Costco where you're getting a large amount of something, it's going to cost more money up front. But at the end of the day, in the long term, it's going to cost you significantly less money if you're looking for price by weight, right? So if you're somebody who is able to afford a Costco membership, if you're somebody who's able to buy the biggest version of things and the most cost-effective version of things, this is going to be your best bet. If you're somebody who is on a very, very, very tight budget, but you still want to lose weight and you can't necessarily go to a Costco or a Sam's Club at this point, what you're going to want to do is, one, utilize sales flyers. They have so many good deals in there, and a lot of people don't really know about them because, a lot of people don't read the paper or anything like that. But if you go to any grocery store, they always have sales flyers in the front, and now a lot of grocery stores actually have their sales flyers on their app. So whatever grocery stores you go to the most, you can download their app and you can find that sales flyer and look for things that are healthy and on sale. And then when you go about actually buying things, make sure that you buy the biggest possible version of something you can afford at the time, because it most likely is going to be cheaper when it comes to price per ounce or price per weight. But just make sure, it always says on the price tag too. So just make sure that you're buying the most cost-effective one. And so when you buy in bulk or when you buy as much as you can at one time, you're going to prevent then taking unnecessary trips to the grocery store, which is going to save you money on gas, and it's going to save you time and the inconvenience of having to go out again and again and again. So when it comes to prepping ingredients in bulk, you want to prep single ingredient foods in bulk that will allow you to make a week's worth in one day. So the key is to not bring out the pots and pans and cook individual meals every single day, because that is going to waste so much time in terms of prep, in terms of cooking, and also dishes, right? You would rather do dishes once for 7 days worth of food than doing dishes 7 times for 7 days worth of food, right? It's just going to save you time, save you that inconvenience. So however much food that you make in advance is going to depend on how willing you are to eat food X amount of days out. So for me, I find that the sweet spot is 7. The food is always good after 7 days for me specifically. And I've found that it's never gone bad before the 7 days, whether it's meat, whether it's veggies, carbs, anything like that. It's usually good for at least 7 days. And even if it's not, even if you don't feel comfortable, you can always take whatever food you have prepped that you think is about to go bad and throw it in a Ziploc bag and throw it in the freezer, and it will be okay. And usually whole foods heat up pretty well. They come out of the freezer pretty well. The texture isn't like disgusting or anything like that. So in order to reduce food waste, but also be able to prep things in bulk and, not feel super anxious about having to finish something within X amount of days, or, kind of anticipating whether it's going to go bad or not, you can always just resort to putting the rest in the freezer and then taking it out when you need it. So what I mean by single ingredient foods is literally just whole foods. So chicken breast, zucchini, potatoes, rice, steak, salmon, shrimp, ground beef, ground chicken, ground turkey. The list goes on, right? Single ingredient foods, they're going to be the cheapest most of the time, and they're also going to be the healthiest. And it's easier to manipulate your macros that way. It's easier to track your macros that way. When you have foods with a ton of different, like 1,000 different ingredients in it, sometimes it's really hard to track. So if you're somebody who also has a little bit of extra money to splurge on, the frozen dinner or the pre-prepped like healthy meals in the freezer section or things like that, that's definitely okay too, because a lot of times those have nutrition facts on the back, so you can find them easily in calorie tracking apps. But if you are going specifically for the healthiest options that are going to be the cheapest and give you the most bang for your buck money-wise, it's going to be Whole Foods. And when you bulk prep ingredients, as opposed to making elaborate meal preps that you don't have time for and like pre-assembling your meals, when you prep the ingredients separately, it allows you to create variety using the same ingredients by mixing and matching throughout the week. So say you made like one meal of steak, rice, and broccoli, and you pre-assembled and pre-weighed out all of those meals the day that you made them, you're kind of locking yourself into eating that exact same meal every single day for the next 5 to 7 days or however many days you prepped it out. But if you are somebody who's very prone to getting tired of things quickly and you need at least a little bit of variety, bulk prepping the ingredients and weighing it out closer to the time that you're going to eat it is going to help you. Because say you prepped chicken breasts, rice, sweet potato, and ground beef, right? Any of those days, as long as it fits in your macros and you're tracking it and weighing it correctly, you can do chicken and sweet potato, you can do chicken and rice, you can do ground beef and sweet potato, ground beef and rice. You can make different combinations so that you can at least have some type of variety. And then obviously using different seasonings, using different sauces that are low calorie, like hot sauce, sugar-free barbecue, those things are all going to help you make sure that you can still have things that are enjoyable, still have variety in taste, texture, flavor, things like that. Number 2, the oven is going to be your best friend. Whether it's a convection oven, whether it's, a traditional oven. I use a traditional oven. It doesn't matter, but that's what's going to allow you to cook things, a large amount of things with the minimal amount of effort. So what I do, the reason I use the oven is because you throw your food in and you forget about it. And if you're prone to actually forgetting about it forever, then you can set a timer and then forget about it until the timer goes off. So you don't need to babysit your food while it's cooking in the oven. If you want to periodically check, especially if it's like kind of your first time actually doing this or cooking this amount of food at one time, you can set periodic 5 to 10 minute timers just to do like temp checks on it to make sure it's not like burning. But basically, you don't have to be sitting at the stove actively stirring something, actively flipping something, right? You can put it in the oven, close it, walk away, and do something else. So what I do is I either take my food directly from the fridge or the freezer, wherever it's in at the time, and I put it in the oven. So what I do in order to also save dishes is I will take baking sheets, right? The baking pans, and I will cover them completely in aluminum foil and then do a little nonstick spray, right? Then I put my food directly on top of that. So when you use those baking sheets, it's a large surface area. So you can put a lot of food on one tray. And you can also, like the oven has multiple rows, so you can cook multiple things at one time too. So it really just allows you to cook everything all at once. And if you cover your pans in the foil, you're going to decrease the amount of dishes, because if the food never actually touches the pan and it only touches the foil, to be honest, you don't really need to do that dish unless like the foil, if it's completely covered in foil. But I mean, if any part of the food touches the pan, then obviously you have to wash it. But if you just cover it, like completely cover it and don't poke any holes in the foil on accident, you can just carefully remove the foil afterward, and then your dish, you don't have to wash every single pan that you're using. And obviously, again, if there are leftovers, you can just put them in the freezer. What I do sometimes is if I have enough groceries that week, I will actually prep 2 weeks worth of food at one time, and I will keep my current week in the fridge, and then I'll put next week's in the freezer. And then for as long as I'm able to, I'll just keep that rotation of meal prep going. And that's going to help you, especially if you're busy. I work 24-hour shifts, and I've also had periods of time where I worked night shifts and went to school full time during the day. And so by making these types of systems and keeping those kind of rotations as best as you can, doing those things are going to save you time and make your plan more sustainable in the long run, so that you can do things even with your busy schedule, even with taking care of your kids, taking care of your family, things like that, and still having a social life, having time to yourself, right? This is going to help you, and it's going to prevent you from going off plan due to running out of meal prep or running out of time to go get groceries, right? And then the last thing, multitask to save time. There's a reason why I said use the oven, okay? While your food is in the oven and you set that timer, and you're doing your temp checks every 10 or so minutes, right? While your food is in the oven, you don't have to sit there and watch the oven heat your food up and cook it. You can literally shut the door, walk away, do something else. So what I do in order to do this is I do a thing called habit stacking. And when you're habit stacking, you're doing multiple things at one time. You're getting multiple things done in the same amount of time. So this could look like, while your food is cooking, you're doing other chores that you would already need to do, right? Laundry, cleaning the house, washing your car, doing the dishes, paperwork, anything like that. Those are things that you would already be doing regardless of if you meal prepped or not, right? So when you stack meal prep on top of that, you're not actually adding any time, or you're not actually taking away any extra time or day to meal prep, other than the time it takes to just throw things on a baking sheet, which is maximum 5 minutes, right? So this allows you to consistently meal prep every week without taking extra time from your day and without taking extra time away from your other responsibilities and your other tasks. So you basically, in order to optimize this, is you would align your chore day, or like the bulk of your chores, you would align that with whatever day you're going to meal prep, so that you can stack both of those things on top of each other and optimize that time by doing multiple things at once. So this is the routine that I used as somebody who was losing 80 pounds during the time that I was working full time, night shifts, going to school full time during the day, and then also as somebody who still uses this system to maintain my weight loss, even working 24-hour shifts and having a really bad sleep schedule and things like that. So this is also something that's very efficient for me in terms of my bodybuilding goals, but it's also something that I used when I was just starting out to lose weight. So this is going to be helpful if you're busy, if you are on a budget, and you still want to lose weight, but you still want to have time for everything else that you have to do. So if you have any questions about this routine, or if you want me to go a little bit more into depth, go ahead and comment anything down below. And if you're looking for more one-on-one support and one-on-one coaching, you can go ahead and click the link below and book in a call with me on my Calendly, or you can DM me on Instagram so that we can have a conversation about where you're at and how I can help you get to where you want to be.